Okay, we're going to use the binomial theorem for finding coefficients. It's similar to using the Pascal's triangle, but when you have numbers that are really large and you don't want to find all those, it's kind of a shortcut. The idea being, if I happen to have, say, x to the 7th, y to the 4th as a term, that I'm always going to combine these two together to represent that highest power. This actually comes from the expansion of x plus y to the 11th. So as it mentions here, my n is my highest one, so I'm going to do, and these are actually using combinations. I have a video on that if you're curious about more, and factorials. Kind of a cool little shortcut. So I'm going to do 11 on the top, and you notice how this created that x7, y4. If I take 4 from the 11, I get that 7 in that sense. And so I'm going to be looking at just that standard 4 now. So it's always going to be that last number that goes underneath, representing the overall total and that that position of that y as it increases or decreases, if you would. And so now that I have that in position, I'm going to do my computation, and that's using this kind of this red box here. I'm going to go ahead and do a bit smaller one. Let's go ahead and do, if I have 5 to the 3rd. This would be x2, y3. Do you see how I'm getting the 5 from the two of them and the 3 from that position? Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 5 factorial over, and it's always cool. It's not too complicated. I'm going to, of course, I can do that 3, and then I can subtract 5 from 3, and I get 2. The bottoms are always going to add up to the top. Now as I expand this again, I'm going to stop at the 3 because that 3, 2, 1 and this 3, 2, 1 are identical. And then 2 times 1 for the 2 factorial, and I get 20 over 2 or 10. So in my 5th Pascal triangle, my 3rd position is 10. I don't know if you remember, but we had 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So it did prove out to be the case. All right, so let me just kind of swipe that to give more space here. Let's do another one. So if I have 13 over 8, I will do 13 factorial, 8 factorial, 5 factorial, and I'm going to stop at the largest one. So I go 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, stop, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you know me, if you've watched my video on this, I'm a little stubborn. I like to eliminate as much as I can. So it's just easier to work with. So I could take like the 4 and the 12 and divide it to get 3. And the 5 and the 10 give me 2, and those 2's are gone, and the 3 and the 9 cancels out to 3. And it just, at least I have, it just makes it easier to work with. So I have 13 times 3 times 11 times 3. And if I pull my calculator up, let's get him out of the way here. I can do 13 times 3 times 11 times 3, and 1287 would be my coefficient for this position. And again, just a reminder, that position is going to be x. Now I take off that 8, and I use 5 y to the 8th. Notice that it's almost like the bottom part is what fits in that way. Okay, so you can use this now to expand. If it says expand x plus y to the 8th, then I can just find those coefficients using kind of this system anyway. Now, what helps is for me to kind of write out those variables. So the first one's going to be x to the 8th, and then I'm going to have x to the 7th, and then y to the first. And then I'll have x to the 6th, y to the 2nd, x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. You getting that feel, right? X to the 4th, y to the 4th. It's always kind of the middle point. Not always, but with even ones there are. And then x to the 3rd, y to the 5th, x to the 2nd, y to the 6th, x, y, 7, y to the 8th. Okay, so that would be the variable expansion to it, but I write it out because I want you to notice how those numbers appear with our combinations. So I have 8, 0. It's always going to be 8 on the top because that is my end value. But then I have 0 y's, 1 y, 2 y's, 3 y's, 4 y's, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now when I do the computation for that, it's good to remember one thing, and that is 0 exclamation point is 1. So if we get that, we don't necessarily freak out. So to do this one here, I would say 8 factorial over 0 factorial, 8 factorial. Well, that's 1. Those cancel out. And I'm not surprised because we always started off with 1 and ended with 1. So proof and pudding. Okay, this one here is going to be 8 factorial over 1 factorial, 7 factorial. Now the 1 factorial is also 1. We don't necessarily need to hold on to those. If I was to break this down, I would say 8, stop, because I can cancel out the 7s, and I'm left with an 8. And then kind of continue here. We have 2 factorial, 6 factorial. Remember again, the bottoms are always going to add up to that top. So I'm going to do 8, 7, stop. Now, does it make sense when I say stop? I'll go ahead and explain. So you go 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But then on the bottom, I would have that same thing. So what's the point in writing all that? I'll stop when I get to that, and that just saves me a lot of extra calculations to work with that way. But I still need to say 2 times 1. So I'm going to have 56 divided by 2, which is 28. And then, don't worry, we're not going to do all these because we're going to see a pattern here soon. So I'm going to have 3, 5. I'm going to go 8, 7, 6, stop. And then 3, 2, 1. Now, if I was to cancel here, I would get a 4. Cancel here, I would get a 2 times 7 is going to give me 112. Okay, hang it. One more here, and then we're going to see a pattern kind of developing. 4, 4, right? So 8, 7, 6, 5, stop. 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'll just go ahead and show you the calculation is 420. Now, if you remember Pascal's triangle, if I was to do this next one here, just writing it out, just for the heck of it, notice that it's the same, just a slight different orientation. I'm going to get 112. So then I'm going to get 28. Then I'm going to get 8. And then I'm going to get 1. And I can pop these numbers now up in here. Oh, I'm missing a couple here. Da, 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 da. Thank goodness for erase, right? Plus 28. And then I'm going to have my 112 here, my 420, and then I reverse. And voila. So it's a binomial theorem. It just uses the idea of the combinations. It allows me to get to those values. But do anticipate that they're going to rise to a peak and drop. Sometimes they double in the middle, but you'll always see that decrease back, and you don't have to do all the calculations for it. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you think about the variables, that helps me set it up. The top is always going to represent that highest number, and then it just kind of increases all the way up to that value. And that's the binomial theorem.